I'd like to call this meeting of the Marlborough Council to order. Everyone please rise for a moment of silence, Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence for the armed services.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Brenda, may we please have roll call?
Sure thing. Counselor Andrews?
Present.
Counselor Catalani?
Here.
Counselor Flegel?
Here.
Counselor Garber? Counselor Corroli?
Here.
Counselor Taché?
Here.
Counselor Scheer?
Here.
Mayor Carpenter? We have a quorum.
Okay. Just a reminder to please silence all cellular devices during the meeting. Thank you. There are no special visitors, which takes us to the public hearing for the liquor license transfer request of Chris Beanie at 1 East Main Street. I'll let you go from there.
Okay, my name is Joselle Cleary. I am the borough solicitor. And this is a hearing required by the Pennsylvania Liquor Code. And I would like to outline the hearing for the people in the audience. This is a request for an intermunicipal liquor license transfer of restaurant liquor license number R-16170 held by Ninkovic LLC from 800 Cumberland Street in Lebanon to 1 East Main Street in Palmyra. Council is required to hold this hearing under the Liquor Code. There is a court reporter present here to make a record of the hearing. Because the council is required to make a record of the hearing, there are some rules I would like you to follow to make sure that the court reporter can do her job and the record is complete. First, please wait until you are recognized before speaking. The first time you are recognized, please state and spell your name. We request that you spell it no matter how simple you think your name is. After all, Ann is spelled A-N-N and A-N-N-E, and we want to get the record right. There will be testimony presented this evening. All persons who wish to present evidence must be sworn or affirmed. That is a requirement for your evidence to be considered part of the record of this hearing. There are some administrative items for this hearing. Administrative Exhibit 1, which I have requested that the court reporter mark, is a letter dated January 4, 2024 from Borough Manager Roger Powell to the applicant Christopher Bainey, informing him of the date, time, and place of this hearing, and also providing him with written notice that the borough will take 60 days from the date the application was filed to render a decision, which is the time period allowed by the Liquor Code. The Liquor Code requires that council act by resolution on any application for an intermunicipal liquor license transfer. given the time limits and the fact that this is the final advertised, regularly scheduled meeting within that 60-day period, prior to this meeting, I prepared and circulated to council 2 draft resolutions, one which would approve the application and one which would deny the application, so that council will have the ability to act this evening. The second administrative item is that this property and this liquor license were the subject of a prior hearing before Borough Council. And Borough Council rendered its decision in that application by resolution number 2023-15, which the court reporter has pre-marked as Administrative Exhibit 2. I would request that council adopt a motion to take administrative notice of the record and its decision in the proceedings which were concluded by resolution number 2023-15.
May I have a motion for that, please? Do I have a second?
Excuse me, so moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And as the borough's practice was in the prior hearing, in order that the record is complete, I would request that Brenda Para be sworn or affirmed as a witness, and that she describe the property at issue for council and for the record.
I do.
Thank you.
This is the testimony of Brenda L. Para, Assistant Borough Manager, on behalf of the Borough of Palmyra. Christopher T. Bainey Jr. purchased the property located at 1 East Main Street on October 5th, 2022. The property lot size is .2 acres, and according to the Borough Code of Ordinance, Chapter 380 zoning, it is in the Central Business District. The property is listed as a commercial business and maintains 2 residential apartments on the second floor. The 2 rental units were required to be registered under the Borough Code of Ordinances, Chapter 277, rental and vacant properties within 10 days of purchase or by October 25th of 2022. Mr. Bainey came into compliance with this ordinance in February of 2023. The rental registration application for 2024 was due November the 30th of 2023. Mr. Bainey did not submit his 2024 rental registration form to the borough until February 9th of 2024. Copies of his $100 cash payment receipt and his licenses are attached to this record and marked Borough Staff 1. Upon settlement of the property on October 5th, 2022, a final sewer and refuse invoice in the amount of $775.86 was provided to the settlement company. The final bill was paid in full through settlement escrow on October the 12th, 2022. Under Mr. Bainey's ownership, the borough invoiced the property for quarterly sewer and refuse services on January 1st of '23, April 1st of '23, July 1st of 2023, and again on October 1st of 2023. The next payment on the account was made in the amount of $300 on October 9th, 2023. On October 24th, 2023, I testified at a public hearing that the outstanding delinquent sewer/refuse balance was $1,768.71. Mr. Bainey made a payment in this amount on November 9th of 2023. On January 1st, 2024, Mr. Bainey was invoiced in the amount of $570 for sewer and refuse services. On February 1st, 2024, penalties were added to the account for non-payment within 30 days as required by Borough Code of Ordinance, Chapter 288, Section 31, Sewage and Sewer Disposal, and Chapter 305, Section 4, the Solid Waste, respectively. Mr. Bainey made a cash payment in the amount of $578.55 on February 9th, 2024, bringing the account current. A copy of the account history is attached to this record and marked Borough Staff 2. On January 9th, the Borough was provided a copy of unpaid tax bills report for 2023. Mr. Bainey's property, located at 1 East Main Street, was listed on the report for delinquent taxes in the amount of $1,661.71. Roger Powell, Palmyra Borough Manager, sent an email to Mr. Bainey on January 10th, 2024, advising Mr. Bainey that his property is listed on the report. A copy of the report and Mr. Powell's emails are attached to this record and marked Borough Staff 3. Today, February 13th, 2024, I was able to verify with the Lebanon County Treasurer's Office that the 2023 municipal real estate taxes for the 1 East Main Street were considered delinquent as of December 31st, 2023. Mr. Bainey paid the municipal taxes on February 12th, 2024 in the amount of $1,727.18. Upon further inquiry of outstanding property taxes, the Lebanon County Treasurer's Office stated that the county and school taxes have not been paid and are considered delinquent for non-payment as of December 31st, 2023. The outstanding balance owed for the property is $8,050.04. The Borough Solicitor advertised the hearing notice for tonight's hearing in the Lebanon Daily News on January 29th, 2024, and again on February 5th, 2024, at a cost of $304.73. Mr. Bainey made a cash payment in this amount on January 31st, 2024. A copy of the cash payment receipt and confirmation of advertisement are attached to this record and marked Borough Staff 4. On January 23rd, 2024, the Zoning and Codes Officer issued a citation against Mr. Bainey for failure to clear the snow from the front sidewalk at 1 East Main Street, Palmyra. The Borough Ordinance, Chapter 314, Section 40, requires snow removal no more than 24 hours after the cessation of snowfall. Upon receipt of the citation issued by Magisterial District Judge Warner, District 52-3-05, Mr. Bainey pleaded not guilty, and a hearing is scheduled for Tuesday, March 5th, 2024 at 2 p.m. Copies of the citations, photos of the violation, and the summary trial notice are attached to this record and marked Borough Staff 5. The Zoning and Codes Enforcement Officer received a verbal complaint on February 12, 2024, regarding a sign placed in the window of the property located at 1 East Main Street. The sign is in violation of the Borough Code of Ordinances, Chapter 380, Section 45, requiring a permit for the erection of a sign. A courtesy letter was sent to Mr. Bainey on February 13th, 2024. The Borough acknowledges that Mr. Bainey has not received the letter yet. A copy of the photo of the sign and the letter that Mr. Bainey will receive is attached to this record and marked Borough Staff 6. This concludes my testimony.
Thank you. next step would be that any person representing the applicant would come forward and identify himself or herself, and if presenting testimony, be sworn or affirmed.
So I got a lot of stuff to say. I'm gonna need a drink. Start my presentation with.
You need to be sworn or affirmed and state your name.
Swear firm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, state your name, please.
I'm Christopher T. Bainey Jr., CHRISTOPHER, T. Bainey, BHNEY, JR, Jr.
If you are presenting exhibits, the court reporter should mark them.
Would you like to mark as applicant or?
Yeah, applicant.
Wait, you want every single one?
It's your case to present, but if you're presenting things, they need to be marked, and we can't talk while the court reporter is marking.
I'll have a seat while she's doing. You want me to like rap, sing a song? I apologize, she's, should have sent you this. That's a lot of stuff. I have one for every borough councilman. And the lady.
Okay, and for the record, what has been marked as applicant exhibit 1 is zoning permit number 2023-91. Applicant exhibit 2 is Pennsylvania Department of State Corporation Bureau application for registration of a fictitious name filed February 22, 2011 for the fictitious name Just Wing It. Applicant's Exhibit 3 is a Pennsylvania Department of State Corporation Bureau Certificate of Organization Domestic Limited Liability Company filed December 17, 2012 for Just Wing It LLC. Applicant's Exhibit 4 is a multi-page document with a handwritten first page and several photographs with a caption, parking spaces on North and South Railroad Street. Applicant's Exhibit 5 is a multi-page document with a first page of text and photographs entitled Public Parking Spaces on East and West Cherry Street. Applicant's Exhibit 6 is a multi-page document with the first page of text and the succeeding pages photographs entitled Public Parking Spaces on East and West Main Street. Applicant's Exhibit 7 is a multi-page document with the first page containing text and the succeeding pages being photographs entitled Public Parking Spaces on North and South Chestnut Street. And applicant's Exhibit 8 is a multi-page document with the first page being text and the succeeding pages being photographs entitled Public Parking Spaces on North and South College Street. And Mr. Bainey, would you like to present testimony?
Hello, Borough Council. My name is Christopher Bainey, and I am a local restaurant entrepreneur. I have owned and operated restaurants for 13 years. With $37 left to my name, I created the chicken wing brand, Just Wing It. They are honestly the best chicken wings in the world. At a borough meeting on August 13th, 2019, Palmyra Mayor Fred Carpenter said, "Our town is starting to look like crap." The building located at 1 East Main Street in downtown Palmyra is definitely a property that fits the mayor's statement. I purchased the property last year and gave it the nickname, the Creepy Corner. But don't worry, God gave me a vision for that corner. The building is going to be painted a soft gray color. The chimney will be painted white and black. The shingles are going to be replaced with black metal roofing. 10 arborvitae trees with soft white lights will line the sidewalk property line. All existing signage will be replaced. The inside of the restaurant teams up with modern industrial decor and exposed brick from the early 1900s. The corner restaurant will seat 50 to 55 people. A unique U-shaped bar will be built by Hartman Home Improvement. He's sitting behind me. The bar top where dinners and cocktails will rest will be made of a red Indus quartz stone. The restaurant will feature 28 draft beers from local and craft brewers. The bar coolers will chill 60 different bottled beers along with an exquisite wine list from the Napa Valley, France, and Italy. The restaurant will house something no other restaurant in Palmyra has. The restaurant will feature a grand piano. With an old city feel and industrial style decor, I present to you the Piano Bar. The menu will feature a scratch kitchen concept inspired by fresh, high quality ingredients. The menu will feature fresh dishes like salmon, super lump jumbo crab cakes, and certified Angus beef steaks. Also on the menu, you will find appetizers like homemade crab dip, from scratch fried pickles, peel and eat shrimp, and of course, my famous jumbo chicken wings. Certified Angus beef burgers, quesadillas, salads, and my mom's street tacos. They are truly amazing. The dessert menu will consist of creme brulee, homemade cheesecake, and my daughter's funnel cake ice cream sundaes. She's sitting behind me. I was able to team up with the zoning officer to successfully change the zoning of the property to restaurant. Because the building is located in the downtown business district, zoning requires 0 parking spaces. Of course, I asked myself, where are people going to park? Through research, I discovered that people will walk 3 to 5 blocks to eat at their favorite restaurant. I did a study and found 196 downtown public parking spaces within a 3-block radius of the front door to the restaurant. The National Restaurant Association estimates that a 20% success rate for all restaurants. 60% of restaurants fail in their first year in operation. Many legal experts say the success of a restaurant can increase by 50% or more by adding beer and mixed drinks. 8 out of 10 restaurant customers would rather dine at a place they can have a beer or a mixed drink. It's just a fact. Ask John Taffer. I purchased a liquor license for 2 reasons. 1, to be able to compete with other local restaurants. It's a simple thing. You know, if you can eat at the Funks and have a drink, or you could just swing it and not have a drink, 8 out of 10 times, I will lose. 2, so that customers can have the option to have a beer or a mixed drink or a glass of wine. Thank you, Borough Council, for your time tonight, and I hope I have earned your vote.
Is that your entire presentation?
No. Just wanted zoning. That I received, the restaurant is currently zoned restaurant.
Please use the microphone.
Oh, sorry. I received this zoning permit with the help of our extremely awesome zoning officer. I received this on 11/17/2023. And the contractor that will be doing the project, 1, he owns the building behind it, the light building. In my opinion, the nicest building in your downtown. He is going to take the project on, and he is going to make it something just like his building. It's not going to be as nice as his building, though. His definitely tops it. Also, the contractor just won Best Contractor as a write-in in Dauphin County. The gentleman is truly talented. So I just wanted to kind of go through this with everybody. The biggest thing that a lot of people say is there is no parking in the downtown and everybody will be aggrieved. That's just not true. I found 196 spaces. I provided pictures, color, and I literally within a 3-block radius. North Railroad and South Railroad have a combined number of 74 off-street parking spaces. And you're welcome to browse through.
I'm sorry, off-street?
Well, public, sorry, off-street, that might be the word. Public parking. Anybody's allowed to park in them. Also, then we can go to parking spaces on East and West Cherry. Actually, let me just go back, I apologize, to the railroad. North Railroad has an incredible amount of parking spaces, all up and down, starting down at the ice cream store and working your way the whole way up. It's a 3-block radius. If you look then going on South Railroad, you will see right in front of Roma, there's 2-hour parking. There are 3 spaces that anybody can use. They're not designated for any restaurant or business in the area. Another one is right in front of our post office. There are 10 available spaces. Now, a lot of people will say that's for the post office. Well, no, that's incorrect. And let me tell you why. Because the spaces are made with white paint. If they were for the post office, they would have blue and red on them. So they are not for the post office. Actually, those 10 spaces Only one space is honestly ever used. People pull up, they drop off their mail, and they go about it. I haven't seen anybody really ever park there. And if you look at that picture, you can see on the left, you can literally see where the piano bar will be housed, and it's just a short walk. It truly is. And then you look down the third block of South Railroad, and it's just the left side where there's a whole bunch of spaces, to be correct, 10. So total spaces just alone on North and South Railroad Street is 74, and that's a fact. Next, we will look at East and West Cherry Street, which is the Palm Lutheran Church area. If you look at the first spaces, which is East Cherry Street, there are a total of 16 public parking spaces. If you go across the street there to West Cherry Street, there's approximately 20 spaces. Anybody is allowed to use those spaces. There's approximately 36 of them. Public parking spaces on East and West Main Street. Okay, if we look, the first picture you see is in front of NK. There are 10 spaces. NK doesn't really have any problem with anybody parking there. I know Steve for years. He's been making our T-shirts since I was a kid. So that's definitely 100% legal, and he's all about it. Second is going down West Main. You'll see on the left side, there's approximately 5 spaces. And then when you go to the next street, which will be the right side if you're heading into Hershey, in front of Turkey Hill, it looks like there's another 5 spaces. All right, then we cruise over to East Main Street, my end of the block. I had the opportunity to check out the macaroon store when I was walking around downtown with my daughter. She absolutely loves it. On that first block, it's right there on the left side. First block's 4 spaces. The second block, right in front of, it used to be a gas station. It's like I'm not really sure, like a tobacco store now. The second block, there's 8 spaces, and that's in front of John's. And then if you cruise a little farther to the third block, which isn't that far actually from the restaurant, you have a total of 9 spaces. Public parking spaces on East and West Main Street, there are a total of 41 spaces. That is a fact. Public parking spaces on North and South Chestnut Street, to the side of the macaroon store. There are 5 spaces. And if you go across the street, there is a nice area there at the ASK. And there's about 10 spaces for a total of 15 spaces. That is a fact. Public parking on spaces North and South College Street. The first block, there's 7 spaces. And I didn't really go to the second block because that was the firehouse. And we don't want anybody to ever park there because when they gotta go, they gotta go. And then if you look over on the south side, right at Turkey Hill and the Cinderella Dance Studio, the public parking, there's 12 spaces on one side, 11 spaces on the other side for a total of 23 spaces. North and South College Street, public parking, total of 30 spaces. That is a fact.
It's up to you.
I would like to. It is the architectural drawing done by a professional architect of the inside of what the crab house will look like. Well, not the crab house, sorry. The piano bar. Sorry, my brother was the crab house. The piano bar. As you walk in the front door, you will get with a hostess stand. The dining room is going to seat and the bar is going to seat about 50 to 55 people. The windows right along here, I plan to have some tables because it's super cool to dine along those windows right on the downtown. The bar, like I said, will be a unique U-shaped bar right here. It will seat 13. Bathrooms are kind of off to the side here, and then there's also an emergency exit. The kitchen will be a state-of-the-art kitchen, and it will be approximately 886 Then we have a small dining room over here. There will be, looks like 8 tables. And then this right here has 2 doorways that I'm gonna have Nate create for me. And this is gonna be a private venue. You can have luncheons, you can have private parties in there. You'll be able to close the doors, have a private server, kind of like for private parties. There's some restaurants in the area that do that, and I thought it was a really cool idea. So I incorporated that into the drawing.
If you want it to be part of the record, it has to be marked as an exhibit. That would be applicants 9. And that needs to stay here.
You wanna keep this?
If it's an exhibit, it becomes part of the record.
Have that. There was some speculation as to my involvement. I'm not really sure why. I'm not really sure why even anybody would be mad if I'm involved. I'm a good guy. I have a beautiful little girl. I've created an awesome brand. I haven't been in trouble with the law in 20 years. I did make some mistakes as a kid, I'll be very honest with you. And I paid dearly for those mistakes. But I paid my time. And I did everything that I needed to do to get where I'm going. From when I was a kid and I got into trouble, I was able to get to college. I was the only kid that was ever put into Lancaster County Prison that took their SATs in jail. I received 90 days for a car accident I was involved in. I was doing 25 miles an hour, just driving down the street on a normal day with my friend. There was a red light on the corner, and there was a big van parked in there. I didn't see the light, and I just cruised through the red light. And I was hit by a box truck, a Lancaster mattress box truck. As a result of the accident, my friend was killed. Yes, it was an accident, and I would have never been charged with any type of a crime, but here's the kicker. My license was suspended for 15 days for speeding. And during that 15 days, I drove. I didn't think 15 days, it's 2 weeks. I've been driving for 2 years. I made an unbelievably poor decision as a young man. But I can tell you, if that decision wouldn't have been made, I wouldn't be sitting here today. So a lot of people, I don't say a lot of people, I say a couple people behind me, and Lebtown News. Lebtown News has an editor by the name of Davis Shaver. When he found out my brother was transferring his liquor license from his extremely successful bar, the Samler Tap House, to a restaurant idea in downtown, he called our borough manager, Roger Powell. He called the zoning lady. He jumped up and down like a crazy person and said he vows to stop this. He told Mr. Powell that he has a personal vendetta against me. Well, do you think the person that has a personal vendetta against me is going to write something that's good? No, that's not fair. I just don't think that that's right. We are using our attorneys to see what we can do in the terms of defamation of character, slander, and leveling. They wrote a lot of things that I think created the controversy. There's no such thing as a controversial liquor license. It's a piece of paper. There's nothing controversial. But the person behind the smear campaign told this gentleman he has a personal vendetta against me and vows to try and stop this. So I would like to tell everybody why I contacted the borough instead of my brother's attorney, just so that we have it clear. And you're hearing it from me, so I don't care what anybody says. You're hearing it from me, Christopher Bainey. Okay, now I'm gonna try to do my best with this one. I didn't think I would ever say these things. apologize. My little brother Derek called me in late September. I was at my seasonal restaurant, very busy. He was panicking, saying Liquor Control Board said they would revoke his liquor license if he didn't move it by September 27th, 2023. Derek said he told Liquor Control that his license does not expire until February 28th, 2024. Liquor Control explained to him that his license was in safekeeping, and he has 2 separate expiration dates per year. One is the normal yearly renewal that is done by February 28th, and the other is a yearly safekeeping renewal. Derek told me that he can't, hold on a minute. Derek told me that he can't wait to start the transfer. He had to do it by September 27th, 2023, or he would lose the license. He told me he called his lawyer's office, and the secretary told him, Jim is out sick with COVID, very bad, and in the hospital. Derek called me and said, I need your help ASAP. The help desk at Liquor Control Board told me I need to advertise the hearing and get on their agenda. Derek said, Chris, you know my anxiety goes through the roof when I have to talk to people at the city or with lawyers. I'm not built like you are, Chris. I told Derek I would make a call for him and see what I can do. So I reached out to Roger Powell and asked him if he could point me in the right direction. My brother is an awesome bartender and truly amazing at running a restaurant. He just does not like to talk to serious people. It makes him nervous and stressed. I will always help my little brother. I just wanted to clear that up as to why I was contacting. My brother, my family, they've always had liquor licenses. They've always had lawyers. Through any transfer that my family's ever had with a liquor license, I've never contacted the city. I've never contacted the borough. That's what my family paid lawyers to do. They reach out to Mr. Powell. Then he reaches out to Miss Cleary. They chat back and forth. Jim was very, very sick. So when I called Mrs. Cleary, I'll be honest, I was pretty shaken also. And she had said she's going on vacation for 19 days. And I said, Miss Cleary, I said, it cannot wait. I said, my brother has to meet a deadline. I said, so can you please do anything in your power to help me get this going? She did. She was truly awesome. So I just wanted to clear that up as to why I helped my brother. Now for the reasoning. 7 years ago, my little brother Derek got very sick. Like not COVID sick, but the kind of sick you need rehab for. It took my family on one of the wildest rides of our lives. My brother struggled for many years, and I prayed for him every day. He is lucky he has a mom like he does, or he would have been dead. My mom retired early from Hershey Chocolate to help my brother. My mom, Dr. Yoakum, and God saved his life. Today, my brother is himself again. He will never make that mistake again. For many years, I didn't know my brother because of the things he was doing. But today, I know he's safe, I know he's healthy, and I know he knows he made a mistake. 2 years ago, at a family gathering, I overheard my brother telling some people in the family that he would give anything for another chance to reopen his bar and tap some beers. Derek saying that stuck with me for months. I had to help my brother achieve his goals. Last year, when I had the opportunity to show my brother the space, his face lit up like the stars. He grabbed a notebook and started writing down his ideas for the space. My brother was back. He had his passion, and I could see the fire in his eyes again. I was so excited for him. When my brother came in front of you, he was denied. It crushed his whole world. He was so hurt, he was so depressed that he locked himself in his bedroom and didn't come out for 2 months. I feel it was my fault. But then I really thought about it. It wasn't my fault. It was that crazy guy, Davis Shaver, at Lebtown. Instead of saying, hey, a nice guy is looking to reopen his establishment, he wrote something that started, hey, imagine not liking the bar down the street and thinking that you have the power to just transfer the license. That's just terrible. That's just terrible journalism. That's a terrible editor. 2 nights after my brother, I feel it was my fault. 2 nights after my brother was denied to open another restaurant, he had a panic attack while sleeping and was rushed to the hospital. Because of the stress, anxiety, and depression that the denial caused my brother, it made him feel that he was not allowed to tap beers again. Along with my brother being rushed to the hospital, my brother decided his health could not handle it anymore, the stress, the anxiety, and he wanted to sell his liquor license. He had many people come after it, and he was going to sell it. I was able to meet with my mother. My brother won't talk to me. We didn't have Thanksgiving this year. We didn't have Christmas. Like, I didn't take my daughter to her grandma's with her Uncle Dee Dee. It was surreal. I didn't even know that could happen. My brother has blocked me on Facebook. He won't even talk to me. Like, won't return my text messages, won't do anything. I'm not here to try to get this approved for him. My brother is honestly done. He's done. He said he doesn't want to do this anymore. There was also something that was said in the last hearing. I didn't come, guys, because I'm not the applicant. To bring me into it is just not normal when it comes to liquor license intermunicipal transfers. My lawyer, who has worked for the Liquor Control Board for 35 years, said he's never seen anything like what went on that night. It is not normal to bring the landlord of a restaurant or of a building into a gentleman who leases the space and is going to bring a liquor license into the township. I felt it was a smear campaign. I felt Brenda Pera did it as a smear campaign. When my brother got the Samler, I watched the meeting he had in front of Lebanon City Council. They didn't say one thing about Tom Morrissey. They didn't say one thing about his sewer bills, his taxes, if he shovels his sidewalk, what he does with his children, what he had for dinner. It's not appropriate to bring the landlord of the building into it. My name was on the resolution more than the word "the." That is disturbing. Also in the resolution, I read that I am being accused of threatening Carol Light. She's 70 years old, and I think she needs help. I can only sit here and say I didn't do that, and she could say that I did do that. So what I had to do was just present the facts. So here's the text messages, the entire thing, from Carol Light and I, the exchange, and it doesn't say one thing about me threatening anybody. There's nothing in here you will find in 23 pages of me threatening an old lady. Can you please admit this as an exhibit? Thank you.
That would be applicants 10.
I don't think I have any more. I just feel like I'm on Shark Tank. Been watching it for years, and now I'm standing here, right? I want this. I didn't print 7, and I apologize, but I think this is very important. I would like everybody to read it. I did not threaten anyone. Oh, excuse me. You all right, honey? Okay. Next. Something I was not allowed to talk about for years. Everybody brings Just Wing It into this thing like it's a bad place. It's not a bad place. The owner's not bad. He's a good guy. So I hear a lot of people, not a lot of people, just some of the people behind us, they like to say I owe $40,000 and they sued Just Wing It LLC. Well, today I'm proud to let you know that I do not own the company Just Wing It LLC. They said I never responded. They said I never showed up to the hearing. Well, I never received an invitation. If I received an invitation, I would have showed up with 5 lawyers to prove my innocence. It is, Just Wing It LLC is a corporation service company. Doesn't even tell you the city. And that service company has an address of 2595 Interstate Drive, Suite 103, Harrisburg, PA, 17110. This is where they were sending whatever they were trying to do. I was at my beach house one day. I was waking up to go to work, and I saw on the local TV that Just Wing It had been sued. It's not true. I do not own Just Wing It LLC. A person creates a limited liability company to separate themselves personally from any issues that will happen at their company. I have an LLC. It's not Just Wing It LLC. I do not own Just Wing It LLC. I never have. I don't even know where this address is. And if you look on the back, it says signature Jennifer A. Smith. That's a female. What I do own is a company that my brother and I started when we were kids. The fictitious name is Just Wing It. If you look on the back, it's signed by both my brother and I. My brother and I, another thing I'll let you guys know, a lot of people say I was always involved with my brother. I'm not. Let me tell you why. My brother and I started Just Wing It in Lebanon together 14 years ago. We were able to work together about 4 or 5 months. We cannot work together. People say I'm a part of his restaurants. That's just not true. My brother and I, we can't work together. I was not going to be part of my brother's restaurant in downtown. The reason that I did it the way I did it is because Tom Morrissey illegally locked the doors to my brother's restaurant one day. We had to file a lawsuit against him, which is called emergency injunctive relief. Judge Tilwalk sided with us and said, yes, Tom Morrissey did wrong, and they sent sheriffs to Mr. Morrissey's house with notes that said you have 3 days to return Mr. Ninkovich's keys or you will be arrested. When my brother got his keys back, he walked into the restaurant. Tom Morrissey and his guys destroyed the entire restaurant, cut the bar into pieces, destroyed everything. So what I found out, the company that holds Just Wing It is neither of these companies, and it's not called Just Wing It. What I found out from the state was this Just Wing It that my brother and I created many, many years ago on February 22nd, 2011, this limited liability company, corporation service company that Just Wing It LLC was created December 17th, 2012. Unfortunately, they filed a lawsuit against a company I don't own. Unfortunately, the statute of limitations has run out to correct this. I don't owe anybody anything. I did not get my fair turn. I did not get to present evidence at a hearing. I did not get invited to a hearing. So basically, it's just a one-side story told by a lot of these people. Which brings me to my next thing. All right. The company I own that holds my assets is Bainey Enterprises, LLC. It was filed on 10/18/2011. It has an action number of 4062222. It is a domestic business corporation, limited liability company. Just Wing It, that my brother and I created, was filed 2/22/11 for 761 Cumberland Street. Because my brother and I could not get along, no assets were ever put into the Just Wing It fictitious names company. I talked to the state 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they said to file a fictitious names cancellation because after checking, Just Wing It does not hold a single asset in the state of Pennsylvania. The Just Wing It LLC they talk about has an action number different than Just Wing It, the fictitious name, and Bainey Enterprises LLC. Action number 415-2960. It's a corporation service company, and it's authorized by Jennifer Smith. I don't know who she is. Never met her. All right. Also something, a lot of people like to say that I'm racist because of something that happened in Anvil. It's just not true. I'm not racist. It was just an argument between a couple people that night. Keep in mind, the young man was very intoxicated. He was asked to leave the Batdorf. He came down to Just Wing It for some food. And he was being served food. I have his credit card slip in a frame on my wall in my office. We refused him alcohol. He was highly intoxicated, and I stand behind the bartenders that did that. So what I want to do is I just want to tell you a little story. When my family asks me where I want to go to eat, they know I will always say Aruga's in Hershey. I think it is hands down the coolest restaurant. So I just want to tell a story to close my presentation. One day, about 5 years ago, my family decided to eat at Aruga's in Hershey. When we were walking to our table, I spotted a young man that looked familiar. I decided to leave my table and go to the bar where the young man was sitting, because the seat to his right was open. I said to him, "Hello, sir, is this seat open?" He said, "Yes, no one is sitting here. You're welcome to sit here." I sat down and ordered a beer. Just to let you know, I don't drink anymore. I haven't had a drink in, 5 years. It's just not my thing. I noticed the young man's beer was almost empty, so I asked the bartender to give him another one of what he was drinking on my tab. When the beer arrived, the young man said, "Thank you," with a big smile on his face. I knew I made a friend. I said, "It's the least I could do for you for saving me a seat at the bar." He laughed. Over the next hour, I watched the Duke basketball game on TV with the young man, and we talked hoops. Like me, I could tell this man played high school basketball or college basketball. He definitely knew what he was talking about when it came to hoops. I also can't forget to tell you, over that hour, we did a lot of shots and drank a lot of beers. The young man kept thanking me for all the drinks. I asked the bartender for my tab. I also asked the bartender to put the young man's tab on my tab and handed the bartender my credit card. The young man said, "Sir, you don't have to do that, but thank you so much." I signed my receipt and was ready to head back to my family's table. I stood up and put my hand out to shake the young man's hand. I asked him what his name was. He said Ricky Bug. As we shook hands, I asked the young man if he knew who I was. He said, "No, I've never met you." I said, "My name is Chris Bainey." We shook hands and just looked at each other for a few seconds, and I looked at him and I said, "I am not racist." The young man said, "I never said you were." Thank you very much.
At this point in time, either council may ask questions of this witness, or you may give the audience the opportunity to ask questions of this witness.
Excuse me. The advertisement that is set into the paper says that the public may come to this hearing to be heard. It does not say questions and answers. I am willing to take questions from Borough Council. The advertisement states you can come here to be heard. If you, council, would like to ask me questions, I'm all for it. If somebody in the audience would like to ask me a question about the liquor license transfer, the restaurant, the decor, the food, when we're planning on opening, how long the construction's gonna take, I'm all for that. But this is not going to be a Chris Bainey smear campaign for the next hour. I will not answer questions from the crowd because I legally do not have to.
I have questions. First of all, not Chris, I'm sorry, I'm
Sorry, I just need
Jane,
a drink, I'm a little,
Jane Caroli, Quairoli.
thank you, ma'am.
Number one, The NK building is not owned by NK. Is that correct anymore?
That is correct.
Okay, so they do not have a say over the parking situation in that, because it is a private parking lot.
Okay,
Okay.
so there's now minus 10 from that, there's
Okay.
now 186 spots. Thank you.
Also, I'm not sure if you realize, but a lot of what you have photographed here is used by residents and other businesses also in the area. Comment, not a question. Another comment is people don't always park where you would like them to. We all know there are parking situations in Palmyra. People take up, not in the central business district where the lines are marked, but where they are not.
Sure.
People will take up 2 parking spaces where there could be 3.
Sure.
Okay. Also, I have no idea what this whole, I don't know anything about vendetta that David Schaefer has for you. The Lebtown articles never came into any kind of discussion that the borough council had. So I don't know that, to me, that it's personal between you and him. It means nothing to us. I think I may have read one article, and that's only because of my previous job.
Oh, can I ask a question?
Yes.
No,
No.
no, this is a hearing and council is the deciding party. This
All I'm
isn't a
gonna say is
back
if
and
David Schaefer
forth.
said to Mr. Pellet he has a personal vendetta against me.
Well, we were
it's
told that.
loaded.
Okay.
Thank
We
you.
were not told that. At least I was not told that.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll provide emails.
The next thing is, I'm a little confused with the time frame. You said you didn't have Christmas or Thanksgiving with your brother, but in the original documents from the first hearing with your brother, there was a email that was written or something. I'm sorry that I don't have them, but at that point, we have it in writing that you were planning on transferring the liquor license from Ninkovich LLC to One East Main LLC. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have any kind of contact with your brother, that was already in discussion,
Yes,
that it was going to be
there's a-
transferred.
One person
I
at a
apologize.
time.
Okay.
Please stop interrupting because A, it's rude, but B, the court reporter
I'm
can
not
only
trying to be
take.
rude, I was just starting to answer the question. I
And
apologize. I'm sorry.
you just did the exact same thing and talked over me.
I apologize.
Whether it's rude or not, you're making her job incredibly difficult.
I apologize.
So my question is, you didn't have any kind of relationship with your brother at that point, but the plans were already in the works to change it from Ninkovich to One East Main, correct? Before the original hearing with your brother was set up.
Well, what happened was Giselle asked what the name for the company was. I reached out to my brother and I said, "Hey, what name is the company?" And he said, "I want to start a new company and I want to call it One East Main Street." And I said, "Okay, I'll tell her that." So I emailed her and she wrote me back and said, "Hey, I looked in the registry with the fictitious names of the Department of State, and One East Main isn't registered." So I called my brother back and I say, "Hey, what's the deal?" And he goes, "Because I have to get this in 4 days, I'm not able to create the new company the right way. So tell her to just keep it Ninkovich LLC, and that's what I'm gonna go with, to start transferring the license." He didn't have any time. The Liquor Control Board said September 27th, he either had to pay $10,000 for another year of safekeeping or start the transfer of the license. And he didn't have $10,000. I wasn't giving it to him. And so he started the transfer for the license under Ninkovich LLC.
Okay, so it was originally going to be transferred from Ninkovich to One East Main.
That's-
Once that was set up? Okay.
Yes, but my brother didn't have enough time to get it all done by trying to meet that deadline. My brother didn't know that he had like a second, a safekeeping date. My brother just said, "I always renew my license in February every year." So when my brother was in safekeeping, he thought he had till February 28th, like every restaurant in Lebanon County does. But because my brother's license wasn't active and it was in safekeeping, he has a safekeeping 1-year period, which could be it starts from the day you put it in safekeeping, 1 year, as to where the renewal of the actual liquor license goes from January 1st until, well, March 1st until February 28th. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, so my next question would be, then you have never had any other liquor licenses put in safekeeping?
My family?
Yes.
No.
Okay. I'm finished with questions for now, thank you.
Could I add just a lot of those parking spaces that you said for the businesses? I have found parking spaces. I started stalking the parking spaces, taking pictures, making videos, setting up my camera phone in the window and keeping it like on, South Railroad. And you will find on a Saturday night, for 4 Saturdays in a row, there's parking spaces in your downtown, lots of them, that are not even parked in. So when people say there's a parking problem in the downtown, I'm really sorry, it's baloney. There's 196, minus 10 if you say NK, but they will let me. But I don't need it, there's still 186 parking spaces. I've provided over $100 worth of color copies, one for every single person, so that you can see there's more than enough parking in the downtown to have a restaurant with 50 or 50 seats. If you ask any local restaurant owner, like I did, I asked a few of them in the local, and one was Fabio and Joe's John Vito, very, very talented man. I asked him, I said, for a 50 to 55 seat restaurant, how many parking spaces do you think I need? He goes, 15, man, 15. You don't need as much, and even if I would need 50 spaces, there's more than enough. There's more than enough. But if you look, I went down and I did some research on other places in the area. If you go to Babes, Babes has 14 parking spots and 1 handicap spot. Lazaro's has 10 parking spots. The Palmyra VFW has 11 parking spots. All of these places do a great business. There's enough parking in the downtown, I promise you that. I've provided the facts on that one for everybody.
My concern with the parking is, again, if you're not out there valeting their cars to certain spots, that people will park in the private parking lots, and of course, not parking close enough together, so those are my main concerns. The rest of this stuff doesn't mean anything to me.
My nanny taught me the 10 Commandments, and I believe in honor thy neighbor. I know that the dance studio is not wanting to have anybody in their parking. I will tell any customer, please do not park over there out of respect for our dance girls. Also, Jared Brinzer at his law firm was concerned. I'm not going to have any, I'll tell people. I even thought about creating a pamphlet just to let people know where there is parking in the downtown. I think your downtown, on a Friday night, the most hopping thing to do is going to Gary's. Your downtown, we need more. I promise you. Some of the most successful downtowns have 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7 restaurants, 3 or 4 or 5 different liquor licenses. I don't drink, that's a fact. My daughter's behind me, you can ask her. We don't have alcohol in our refrigerators, we don't have alcohol in my house. My daughter does not see me drink alcohol ever. I don't like it, it makes me sick. So I just really think that lighting up that corner from being the creepy corner with some neons in the windows, some Arbavita lights up the side. I do want to say I apologize for the sign. I thought it was cool. We thought it would get the township involved. I apologize. After this, I will go take it down. Now I know that. I apologize. I'll never put a sign up like that again without permission. I did not know that. When people say, Brenda said about that we didn't shovel, of course we did. That was the first snow I ever had at that property. When I went out to the property, somebody, I'm not sure who, had already shoveled about this much, all the way around the building. I didn't have time to get pictures. So there was about 18 to 20 inch space around the whole building. What I found when I got there, I got out and went up and tried to get through more with my shovel, and I learned that from vehicles going around that corner, they throw the slush up onto that sidewalk. And I'm not gonna lie, it was that thick with ice. So I had to call in my guy, Dan Bolts. He actually just did the corner 4 hours ago. And he came out and he used 3 50-pound bags of salt, 150 pounds of salt, which I thought was total chaos. But he said it was very, very, very icy, and it took him a while to get through it. But I just want you to know that it's not like I didn't show up and try to do anything. I did. Somebody, I don't know who did it, already, I'm thinking maybe Nate, left me a space the whole way around the building. So in my opinion, I took a hearing because I want to show Mr. Warner the pictures that I have on my phone. I'll print them out. And I just believe that I didn't do anything wrong. And I believe that, I left a path with what I had inquired when I got there, with it being literally the first snow I ever had with the building. I just want everybody to know, my side to, when somebody says, I received a citation for snow. If I didn't show up and I would have just said, I'm guilty. I didn't get to it, I was busy. But no, I do care about it. I do want to make sure, like tonight I saw the young lady walking the dog around, and I said to myself, you know what? I need to always make sure, and right there is the reason why. I never knew a lady's going to be walking her dog in front of my building, but I learned that tonight. So I asked that you give me a little bit of time to get adjusted to the building. As for some of the things, the sewer, water, trash, some things I got behind, in all the properties that I own, this first year with that building was the hardest. I think one tenant paid me. I got so behind, tenants just didn't pay me. I would take them to district justice, he wouldn't do anything. Then tenants did things like literally smash the windows. There's just literally nothing I could do. I eventually got them out, but I just want to let Borough Council know that my first year with the property has been, it's been challenging. I've had to use funds from other places, to get these things taken care of and paid. And I don't have a personal vendetta against Brenda Parrott. I hope that, we can continue to work together to create something great for our downtown. But there are days, where you can only take so much, from the media chasing you, and a couple, people come up here and lying, like Carol Light, saying I threatened her. I did not threaten her. I didn't threaten anybody. So I just want to clear the things that people say. Normally I just hide in the shadows and I don't say anything, but I decided that from here on out, I'm going to come out and I'm going to speak, and I'm going to say, my side of it, to give people a better understanding of what I'm about. The reason I bought the building was because Tom Morrissey locked my brother out, and I'll tell you, the Sandler Tap House was the busiest bar in the downtown. Mayor Sherry Capello tried stopping it. My brother took her all the way to the Liquor Control Board. The Liquor Control Board asked, the judge asked Sherry and the Chief of Police, Dan Wright, what can you tell me that Mr. Bainey did that you say he has a bad reputation? You know what her answer was? She sat there. She didn't say anything. And the law judge stood up, and he hit his gavel, and he said, Derek, go open your bar today. I'll take any more questions. But I want to say, the reason that the building, I learned that with restaurants that my family has leased over the years. We were young kids. We grew up at Palm City Trailer Court with our mom. Our mom worked third shift. She was never home. I raised my brother ever since we were 9 and 5. So what we learned, I was set out to make a difference. I created Just Wing It because I wanted to create generational wealth. I invested into real estate so that I can leave my daughter better opportunities than I had. My goal is to pay off all my buildings so that someday my daughter just has to pay those crazy taxes that come along with it. But what we've learned from leasing the properties is that we think we're in it for life. But there gets a point where your lease has run out and the landlord will not renew. So I kind of refocused and I said, well, we have to, if we're going to be able to stay like my brother, myself, we need to buy the building. That's the best way because then we're the landlords. So my idea with my brother was I got the building, I would help him do whatever I could for him to open his bar. My brother has all of the equipment that he had from his original bar in the basement of my Anvil building. That building also houses a restaurant with a liquor license. And my brother was going to do very well, I know he was. And after 3 years, I was going to sell the building to my brother. Now my brother will have his liquor license in a building that he owns. Someday when my brother gets married and has children, I know that those children will always have food on the table. We'll always have warm heat on. We'll always have warm water. I grew up with my brother in not some of the best places. And I'm not going to sit here and say I was oppressed. No. I knew that I had to do something and I needed to grind every single day. I can honestly say I probably haven't had a day off in 12 years. My daughter's behind me. Every single day at 11 a.m., I wake up and off somewhere to make chicken wings. It's truly what I love to do. I'm not really as interested in liquor licenses as other family members of mine. I've never made $1 million with a liquor license. But where I make my money is selling chicken wings. I have 125 flavors. There is nobody in Lebanon County that sells more chicken wings in 1 year than I do. I have a restaurant in Ocean City, Maryland, that sells more chicken wings in 4 months than any restaurant in Lebanon County in 12. I'm very proud of that. And I think I've done my part to create and be on the right path to creating generational wealth for my family. I will not allow my daughter to grow up in a trailer park. I will not allow her children to grow up in a trailer park. I have 28,000 days roughly on this earth, and I'm going to do everything every day to help my family get to where they need to. My little girl is sitting behind me. At my restaurant in Ocean City, she created Mackenzie's Crazy Cones. It's an ice cream brand. She sells milkshakes, Sonic Pops, Turtle Pops, all the things that you have at the beach. She saved all her money and last summer bought a milkshake machine that she could make 3 milkshakes. She's 7 years old, and last summer she sold over 1,000 milkshakes. If you're ever in Ocean City, Maryland, stop by and you will see what it looks like for a 7-year-old to make a milkshake. It's pretty cool. She doesn't want to sit in the house and watch TV. She doesn't even want to go out and play. She wants to go to our restaurant. She wants to find one of our shops. Ever since my little girl was born, I've done nothing but try to help her to achieve her goals, listen to her, and my biggest dream is to help her to be an entrepreneur like her dad.
Mr. Bainey, is that all the relevant evidence you wish to present? I mean, we
Yeah.
have been going at this for
Yeah, I
well
think the
over.
longer I talk, the less I can.
Will you please stop interrupting? You have been told repeatedly that you are making the court reporter's job, and you just did it again.
I'm just apologizing.
Do not speak when other people are speaking. That makes the court reporter's job incredibly difficult. Are there any members of council that have any questions for Mr. Bainey?
I do. Matthew Andrews, MATTHEWANDREWS. Do you, you own the restaurant Cocktails?
No,
So who owns that restaurant?
Nikki Meyer.
Nikki Meyer. So what other restaurants do you own currently?
Just Wing It in Lebanon. Just Wing It Ocean City.
I'm sorry, did you ever own anything? Did you own Just Wing It at the time?
I owned Just Wing It in Annville for 3 or 4 years, and then I sold my rights to a franchise owner because I was
borough staff have any questions for Mr. Baney?
I do not.
I have no questions, but I will ask that everybody that wants to speak come up to the microphone to make any type of comment. Chief Andrews, or Chief Winters, if you would, he's Andy, yeah. If you would please turn the microphone on, and any comments have to be made with the microphone for those that are watching and for the purposes of the clerk.
And I would just like to state that, man, I wish I had a 19-day vacation. I don't know where Mr. Baney came up with that one. I did have a vacation, but I've never had a 19-day one in probably 20 years. But be that as it may, I wish I had one. If there is any member of the audience, do you wish to come forward to the microphone?
Hello, my name is Pat Steely, and I'm speaking as, I'm sorry, Patricia Steely, Steely. And I'm speaking as a Lebanon County resident, but I'm also an executive committee member of the NAACP. And I do have, oh, is he gone? Oh, okay. Well, I have a question. He said,
Yeah, if you're making statements, you need to be sworn in.
oh,
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
absolutely. So Mr. Baney said he hasn't had any problems with the law in 20 years, but yet in 2017, he had the whole issue of the racial incident at Just Wing It. And as a person who's very involved in civil rights, that really concerns me. That was an incident that involved the law. He used the N-word multiple times, and he was given a judgment of over $40,000 that he owed that young man. So that concerns me that he wasn't real honest in what he said there, that he hadn't had any incidences with the law since in the last 20 years, because that's not true. What has come to light too is there's problems that he hasn't paid back taxes, that he's owed back taxes for water, et cetera. I feel as if there's things that have been said that are not exactly honest. I'm confused about the whole relationship with his brother. On one hand, he said he's close with his brother, he's raised his brother, yet they're estranged now. There's been one brother, I guess, has sued the other brother. It's just really confusing. But I just wanted to just speak, though, from the whole point of view of the fact that he said there's been no legal incidences with the law in the last 20 years, and yet in 2017. And I do want to ask him a question, and the question is, he was asked about when, that at one time he was the owner of Just Swing It. So at what year did he give up that ownership? Because in 2017, that's when the incident occurred, and he owes this $40,000 to this young man. He talks about having money to redo the whole beautiful, I mean, I admire the entrepreneurial spirit of what the vision is, but at the same time, it concerns me. So my question is, what year did you stop? Did you sell the business? Who owned the business in 2017?
On the advice of counsel, I invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and respectfully decline to answer your question.
Okay, because we know you owned it in 2017, so you do owe $40,000. And I think when you
Hold on,
keep talking.
I will answer your question. 2014, just to let you know.
But when you keep talking about how you have all this money to pay 5 lawyers for this and 5 lawyers for that, why don't you pay what you owe and do the right thing? I'm done. Thank you. I just feel this is not the kind of business owner we should have in our
Objection.
community. I'm entitled to my opinion.
Is there anyone else who wishes to make a statement to council? Yes, sir.
Ricky Buggs Senior, R-I-C-K-Y, B-U-G-G-S-R.
And you need to be sworn or affirmed.
Do you swear firm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I too admire an entrepreneurial spirit. If it weren't for things that I know from my side, I honestly would want to visit a restaurant based on the description that Mr. Bainey gave. That's just being honest. And that's the only way I'm going to be up here, not because I affirm, but I'm a man of integrity. I wasn't there for the incident.
Objection.
But unless you tell me, I'm going to keep speaking.
Yes, sir.
I wasn't there for the incident,
Continuous objection.
but I know people that were, and there were many witnesses. And there were a couple things that were said that I know weren't true. My son had a few drinks. He admitted that. God rest his soul, but the police chief, when I spoke with him, confirmed when he met with my son that he wasn't intoxicated. So when we hear very, that's not true, according to his report. Also, the incident at Arugas, I laughed because my son told me about it, and it was nothing as was described here tonight, nothing like it. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time and try to smooth things over and sound smooth. I'm not going to do that. I can just tell you that with all my heart, because he came to me to tell me about the incident, I believe what he said, and it was nothing like that. It was matter of fact, it was more or less, he was identified as he said, but when he was, it was like, okay, no, even the bartender said, no, you need to leave. Now, I wasn't there, so I really don't know. To be honest, I don't, but I only know what my son told me. So I just heard some things that were inconsistent with what I know and also what I've been told. What I know is what the police chief told me, and then what I was told is what my son told me. So thank you for your time.
May I comment?
Mr. Bainey, your testimony was hearsay. What people told you, what you claim
Hold on, I'm
other
just asking
people
if I
said.
can comment, ma'am. That's it. It's a yes or no. Can I comment?
No. You had
Well, hold on.
almost 90
He said something
minutes.
about me and I get the chance to comment, so I'm gonna. He said
Mr.
that that's not true. Actually, Ricky Bug
Mr.
got up and
Bainey,
went down to where my
Mr.
family was sitting.
Mr.
And I
Bainey.
introduced him to my family.
Is there any other person in the audience who wishes to make a statement? Yes, sir. I saw him first. You're next.
Ryan Kelly.
Do you swear firm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I'll make this short and sweet.
Can you spell your name for the record?
Sorry, Ryankelly. I'll make this short and sweet. Many people up here know me from the zoning board, and there's only a short thing I want to say. For the audience members, look, we need to get past the parking in downtown. In Central Business District, it's allowed by right. We also need to get past all the childish stuff, and we need to focus on this as a hearing. The only reason I stood up, and it was hard for me to stand up, was that Borough Council is gonna have to consider restaurants in the Central Business District moving forward, and the hearings cannot go like this. They can't be like this. It can't be one hearing, then another hearing, and all kinds of irrelevant information brought into it. The Borough Council, you guys need to decide, in downtown business district, do you want to simply allow a liquor license to transfer in or not? And I think we need to make those decisions quicker, because when we don't, this is where we go. And it's not good for anybody in the town, and that's all I have to say.
Sir?
This is new. I mean, we're not dragging this out.
How does it?
It's okay.
so awkward. I do. Nate Hartman, Nathan Hartman, 16 North Railroad, beside the corner. Okay, so I totally support a business going in on the corner, okay? And I think it's great if we can bring revenue. And Kelly, I totally agree with what he said. Like, I think we need to bring businesses into the downtown area. The one thing I did want to comment on, mainly because like my wife like slapped me in the arm. Chris has approached me about doing work, and we've talked about it. But at this point, we don't have a contract. So I think there's some processes that need to happen to get that building to where it needs to be, and I've relayed that. So I just wanted to like comment on that. Like, at this point, I don't have a contract with you, and that's my world of business, unfortunately. So it kind of struck me off guard a little bit, and that's kind of all I wanted to say. You know, I don't want brought into this like this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, we build stuff. I want Palmyra to be awesome, and I would be the first to be like, Chris, I've known you a long time when we were kids, and if you can make it right, and like Palmyra gets my back and like wants me to do it, like I'm all in. Like anyone from this community knows, like my company is like all about making that area great. I want the area to grow. I want my building to be worth more. I want Maria's building to be worth more. I want Brinzer's building to be worth more. I want it to be more like when you go down to like Lidditz, like it's a flourishing place, and it's a town that's small, just like ours. And I would love to. That building needs a lot of work, man. But I think that goes along with like hopefully all those issues surrounding it. And like you said, Kelly, there just seems to be a lot of I don't know if I don't really do this ever. A lot of bullshit that's just around this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like. At the end of the day, if Chris can make it right and people aren't going to berate me for doing the building, I'll make it look great, you know? And I hope all these other issues surrounding it, like, hey, like they can come to amends. And actually, last time I was here, I actually spoke to Mr. and Mrs. Bug. And I know, like I said, like I know Chris when I was little, and I'll be honest with you, that whole thing that happened, like, that's some dumb shit, man. Like, if you did that, like, own up and get over it. And I hope like you guys square everything away, like, but I just think that I really want this community to move forward, and when my name was brought into this, like the last thing I need is being mentioned on Levtown is like, oh, Nate Hartman's a racist. I'm like, no. Like, look, let's get this straight. And so, yes, if Chris can make it right with our community and everybody involved, I would love to do it. But if that can't happen, I won't without the town's blessing. Like I am like Palmyra through and through. I'm proud of where I live. I live right in the borough. You know, people joke around like on the wrong side of the tracks. You know what? That's the most damn beautiful building. And Johnny Pyle sold that to me, and he said to me, I know you would make that. That's the only reason he sold it to me. I bothered him for a year to buy that building. And I still remember the day he said, I know you'll make it beautiful. I remember when Maria Altabrando came to me and she said, this contractor from Philly screwed me over. They shafted her, took all of her money. And she'll tell you the same thing. And she said, Nate, And we were just coming up then. She gave us a shot. And somehow we made it happen. And it was the best decision that I've ever made, like business-wise. But Chris and Burrow, I honestly hope, and Mr., like you guys, like you're all intertwined, you know what I mean? Like, I really hope that all of these things can come to amends to move forward. Because Chris, I've known you a long time, and I'd love to see you succeed. And I'd love to make that building beautiful. But I would be the first to tell you, I can't do that without this town's blessing, because they're my people, all right? And that's all I gotta say.
Is there anyone who hasn't spoken who wishes to speak? Yes, sir. Please go to the microphone.
Hello, Thomas Miller, THOMAS MILLER.
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but
I
the
do.
truth?
Looking at the corner of Palmyra there and that building and the process of changing it over, I'm not going to go into great lengths of speeching, but I'll tell you what, Palmyra does need to continue and improve. I think that will help this town immensely, and I think we will get better and we continue on. All the discussions that have happened, I'm just full favor. I hope that the borough will approve it, and it's a beginning to make this town better. And that's all I got.
Mr. Bainey, this is a hearing. It's not appropriate to be applauding.
I just wanted to clap. I apologize, I won't clap anymore, I'm sorry.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Yes, sir. Please come forward.
I'll make it quick because I think I took 3 of my 5 minutes before Ricky Bug Sr. I affirm to tell the truth. I just wanted to share this. And I totally agree. This is crazy. Number one, we're one human race. It's a construct, whatever we call it, a black and white, but we're a human race. You take one heart from another and put it in someone else. So that's ridiculous. So I stand here to say that, and it's a tough thing to talk about because of the climate we live in, where you can't talk about race. It's taboo, and it's sad. It's silly. It really is. Now, given that, I am a man of integrity, and I think that's the most important thing. So what I did is I text my son who's working. That's what I did. I text him. Oh, boy, come up now. I don't want this. Okay. I text him. I said, how many drinks did you have with Chris Bainey at Aruga's? He said you had many drinks together and that he paid your tab. Also, that you told him that you never said he was racist. And he finally replied, and this is the only reason I'm getting up. He said, LOL, never happened. I'm at work now. Elijah was with me. Elijah's one of his good friends. Now, all I can say to that, as a man of integrity myself, as God is my witness, somebody's lying. That's all I'm going to say. It could be my son. So I'm not going to act like, oh, my son is all righteous. No, it could be my son, or it could be Mr. Bainey. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to make a statement to council? Yes, ma'am, please come forward, state your name, and be sworn or affirmed.
Hello, I'm Paula Bugg, Paula Bugg.
Please swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. I hear everything going on, and moving forward and progression is good and it's needed in this area. I agree with all that, but I do agree that we need people with integrity that will work with us and for us. We're talking about Lidditz. It's a great place to go. People are nice and friendly, and I don't know them on a personal basis, but they make you feel at home, and that's what we need in our community. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to make a statement? If there is no further evidence, council can take a motion, adopt a motion to close the record. Council may adjourn to a quasi-judicial executive session if it desires. I will say that council needs to act at this meeting, or council will have to hold a special meeting, which must be held on or before Friday. And given the advertising requirements for a special meeting, it really isn't possible. So council needs to act tonight. And as I said at the beginning, I did provide council with alternative resolutions, since the liquor code requires acting by resolution. But the first item of business would be to adopt a motion to close the record.
So moved.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And I would like to make the motion to adjourn into an executive session.
I shoveled the whole front of the building this morning, and I was like, I'm not doing that.
You know what, it's funny, I went out today to do it. I was doing just enough to get my car in and out because of course, you know, the driveways.
Do I just reconvene?
outside.
Do I just reconvene?
So, and it was great because by the time I was halfway done with the driveway, everything, all the crap melted.
I'd like to reconvene this meeting of the Borough Council.
Okay, Borough Council held a quasi-judicial executive session to deliberate as allowed by Pennsylvania law. As I said earlier this evening, council should act tonight, and council has been provided with alternate resolutions to approve and to deny, since the liquor code requires that council act by resolution. So what would be appropriate is for a member of council to make a motion to adopt one or the other of the resolutions that were provided to you prior to this meeting. identifying if you wish to make a motion to adopt the resolution to approve or the resolution to deny.
I'd like to adopt the resolution to deny.
Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Okay.
Who's second? I'm sorry. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Okay, do we close it?
We just closed the record, so you don't need to do anymore. You can just move on to the business. Do you want to adjourn for a couple minutes to give people time?
Thank you very much, Borough Council. We'll see you at the appeal.
All right, so that takes us to, does anybody need a bathroom break?
We had one.
They just had a break.
Do you wish for me to stay, or should I leave? or-
You're good.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you as always.
Thank you very much. I forgot to do the David. Thank you, Jeff.
How about I end up getting to be the bad guy? Bastards. Don't worry.
You got it. You got it.
Okay. All right, that takes us to public comment period number 1. Please state your name and address for the record and try to limit your comments to 5 minutes. Don't all jump at once. We got a packed house. Okay. Okay. All right. Closing public comment period number 1. Moving on to the consent calendar. Approve the minutes of the January 23rd, 2024 Borough Council meeting.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? All right, that takes us to action and discussion items. Resolution 2024-11, appoint borough resident to Regional Police Commission.
I would like to
I see, we have 3 options, so we have a suggested motion. Do we nominate first, or how do we do this?
I'm sorry, the chief wanted to say something.
I'm sorry,
Number 3, he called back in and asked to be removed.
okay,
Okay.
Oh, boy.
we're down to 2.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't see Mr. Brenzer here. Does Don want to do this?
Yes, I would like to nominate Donald Barry.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
Okay.
you for serving, Don. For now.
Okay. All right, so then, do we also need to do the motion then for the resolution?
We can just make
Or is that what we just did? Okay, all right. All right, past due debt collection, approved foreclosure proceedings. Discussion on and if appropriate, suggest a motion to authorize the borough solicitor to pursue writ of sera fascia to commence foreclosure proceedings against the following properties. And you can see the 7 properties listed there. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, takes us to the president's report. I don't have anything. Takes us to the financial report. Financial statement as of January 31st, 2024 will be available at the next meeting. Delinquent sewer and refuse report. Brenda?
As you can see, we finished January 2024 at over 180 days at $99,524, which is a little more than January of 2023. But you have a list of several properties before you that we hope will have an impact.
And that's a
over
big
bringing
chunk of
that.
change.
Okay. All right. Thank you as always for that report. All right, fire department? Nothing? Okay. Anything? Police department?
We hosted an internal affairs training class recently. Sergeant Matthews went to that. We had about 20 people here from like between Lebanon, Lancaster, Berks County, and Maryland.
Nice. Okay. Okay. All right, Planning Commission did not meet in December. Next scheduled meeting is Wednesday, January 24th, 2024, beginning at 7 PM, which takes us to the Public Works Department. Everybody should have the superintendent's report for the month of January. Any questions on that? Nope. Okay. Thank Scott as always for this. That takes us to Borough Properties.
Municipal building renovations project is finished. There's one little punch list item that needs to be done yet, and that's gonna be done, I think, next week. So that'll be the last time you see it on here. We've received all the invoices from the architects and from the contractor, so that's a wrap. I put in front of your places a list of 4 contractors that we talked to about HVAC controls. That was budgeted this year. We had gone out and sought proposals from other CoStar's contractors to make sure that our current contractor, Train, had given us a price previously, and we wanted to make sure that we were in the right ballpark. So, so you can see the low bid is $69,500. The high bid was $150,000, so it's a pretty big swing. So I didn't know, Brennan and I kind of have an opinion of who to pick from here. Generally, you throw out the low bid and the high bid and go with somebody else, but, which would leave us with Train.
Yeah.
And in full disclosure, Next Gen is actually Chief Winters' uncle's business, so I don't know if that factors in or not, but I just wanted to make that clear. We like their product. Their product was very similar to what Oasis's product was. It's a lot more expensive. Brendan and I really liked the people that came to visit the building with Oasis. We thought they were probably more thorough than the rest, but we've had experience with Train. We haven't really had any issues with Train. So I'm not sure what council feels. Do you want to go with the low bid price, or do you want to stick with Train?
What do we have budgeted? You know?
Just 80, a little over 87.
And are we just talking about the controls or the totals?
Just the controls. We were talking, I had them look at the exhaust fans because we have, all the exhaust fans run in this building on old mechanical timers where they just have the little, it's like a dial, and they have little screw pegs around, and so they just turn on and off at random times all day long.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That
But-
seems archaic even for when this building was built.
Yeah, it does.
kind of is, but at the same time, when you see the price to actually put them as part of the control system, there's no way in the world we're gonna save $14,000 to $17,000 in energy costs
No.
over time
No.
to make up for that. So pretty much all of them said it's probably not worth doing, and I agree with that. So that's not something, I just wanted to put that on there, that we did research that as well. So you don't have to make a decision tonight, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Train's done all the other work.
Yes.
And you've been satisfied with their work?
Yep. For the most part.
You would think if it's Train, they could possibly get parts better or quicker, or?
Well, all these systems they're kind of universal, like they'll talk to anybody's units now, like that's kind of the way the HVAC world's going, so no matter what is put in, it will be able to communicate with whatever is put in for the system later on.
Okay, I'm fine with Train.
So the only difference is the train is they've done it here plenty of times before, and Next Gen hasn't either, the other. But Next Gen, they have what, good reviews, good, it's just,
Yeah,
related. But I look at the product, and if they have a good business, and you said that, and it's cheaper, and we can save, and once again, then that goes to the citizens, and we can help them. That's how I kind of look at it. If they have a good company, why wouldn't we look at it just because they're related? I mean, I try to separate everything, that's just
I
me.
do too, but not everybody does that. That's the issue. I mean, I don't think somebody should be penalized because their nephew is our chief, but
I agree.
I don't like even the look of something inappropriate.
So train or next gen? Which one are we going?
Well, I think they were talking about Train or Oasis.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think that's what you were suggesting in the first place, throwing out the high and the low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of these are on co-stars.
It's all
So
co-stars,
you,
So they've all been,
you have the ability to award that based off the co-stars.
So they've all been vetted by co-stars. Okay.
I would then pick train.
I would go with Train.
I would too.
The consensus?
Let me speak.
Well, if that's a consensus, then you might as well formalize it in a motion. That way we're covered.
I'll make the motion to
second.
take Train.
Pick one of us.
3 people did.
Pick one of us.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Okay. Public Works Department, I finally got an update on the cell tower, and apparently Chantel has put that project on hold. So if anything changes, they'll let us know, but
pick it up in another 10 years.
yeah, probably. So that'll come off too. We won't talk about that anymore.
Okay.
Other borough properties, I really don't have anything to report. It's snow covered at the cemetery, so it's quiet. Parks. Not much to talk about parks-wise. We did have some storm damage today with a large evergreen tree toppled over in Southeast Parks. We'll have to take care of that at some point. But other than that,
When does that project start at Heritage?
it'll be sometime in the spring when the weather's better. Once the weather breaks, we'll be able to consider that, get that schedule, get it going. Refuse and recycling, if you didn't hear it, there was no collection today. It's being delayed a day, and they'll work a day later, so everything's a
Okay.
day later.
So I gotta do Friday. Didn't think so. It was bad this morning. I mean, it was.
When do we start contract discussions? When is that? Is that toward the middle of the year?
It's gonna be as soon as I can get it cranked out. I'm working on, I'm trying to get some different contracts from different areas that do trash differently than we do, just to see if it's feasible for us to do it, and to see if we can work it into the bid documents to get a price, so we know if we do X, Y, or Z, what it will cost.
Okay.
So that's what's been holding me up a little bit, but otherwise, it's just, we update the contract and get it out to bid. I have gotten a few calls from different local contractors, which is good, so we're not gonna be just getting one bid this time, I don't think.
Good.
We're gonna be in better shape this time. So, yeah, so hopefully, within the next month or so, I'll get that done, get it ready to go out the door. Sewer system, we had a little bit of a main repair that we, in the 700 block of West Maple Street. The guys took care of a portion of it, and we're gonna have Ebersol fix, there's about 100 feet of main that they have to replace. The pipe's pretty deep, so they have better equipment than what we do to do a deeper repair, so, that should be happening in the next couple of weeks. Again, weather dependent. Sinkholes, fortunately, nothing new happening, and the old ones have been steady, so nothing really new to report there. Stormwater management, we had the pre-construction meeting for the Phase A basin upgrade that's gonna bore under the railroad. again, they're spooling up, getting things ready to go, and then they're just a matter of waiting on the weather. So our question was during the construction meeting is how, we had talked about doing some kind of a ceremonial or thing. So do we want to do like the chrome shovel ceremonial level of dirt type thing with pictures, or do we just want to?
You've been working on this.
I just want to see ground being broken. I don't have to do it. I
Okay.
don't need to do anything. I just want to see it being done.
Okay, so you're,
Because I'm not quite sure it's still happening until I see ground broken.
Yeah, but once you stick that shovel in, that they gotta finish.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
I don't need
It's
to be
happening.
the one doing the shoveling.
Kinsley said they would do whatever we would.
I think you
I
should.
just
think she
want to
should.
know
After
when
all
it's
these
happening
years?
so I can see it.
We'll be able to take
So
a picture
I,
of you with your shovel.
honestly, I
go to the
don't
wall.
care about a whole
Hard hat,
ceremony.
shovel.
I just would like to see it
Okay,
being
you
done.
just want to see the first shovel go underground?
Yes, I do.
On the first
This
day
is a
of work.
long project.
Okay, we can do that.
Put a hard hat and a backhoe.
Street and alley maintenance, the guys worked on Evergreen Alley a little bit, but I heard tonight that it wasn't successful. And at this time of year, it's very hard to do alley work because of the weather and the frost and the heaving and the thawing, and so we'll continue that as we can.
Can we have them look at Arch Street between College and Main?
Arch Street between College and Main,
Yeah, I believe it's Arch Street.
or what?
They're really bad in that area.
Okay.
Really, like,
We can do that. And really for traffic, there's nothing to report traffic signal wise, so that's really it for Public Works.
We didn't have anything from the solicitor, did we? No,
If
okay.
she would have had something, she probably would have brought it up before she left. And we haven't had any, I don't have anything to give for the solicitor, from the solicitor. No.
Okay. All right, everybody has the zoning officer and codes enforcement officer monthly report. Thank her as always, thank Michelle for this as always. And then zoning hearing board, no hearings are scheduled for Monday, February 12th. Oh, that was yesterday. No hearings yesterday.
Excuse me.
Which takes us to the borough manager's report.
Other than the report that we've conducted interviews for the second codes officer position and for Public Works, I think there's really not much else to report. We don't have any-
Going well?
Yes and no. The hiring process these days is challenging. But hopefully we'll have something for you here shortly on those positions. Other than that, I don't have anything. Do you have anything?
Okay. All right, no communications, any other business? Nancy? Jane?
No.
Anthony? No. Roger, Brenda? Okay. All right, that takes us to public comment period number 2. Please state your name and address for the record and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. Nobody? Okay. All right, closing public comment period number 2. Borough Council will conduct its next public meetings on Tuesday, February 27th, 2024, and Tuesday, March 12th, 2024, beginning at 7 p.m. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.